she was shot 11 times in a cold-blooded shooting. She is thankful to be alive and tonight demands some answers.
He only hit me 11 times. That's how many times he hit me. This doesn't count the bullet holes on my car.
Stephan, what an amazing story of survival. This young woman says three people identified the shooter as her ex-boyfriend, also the father of her young son, to police.
On a chilling evening on February 21st, 2021, a nightmarish ordeal unfolded on the streets of Chicago when Lasonya Agee, a woman of remarkable resilience, found herself shot 11 times by her ex-boyfriend and father of her child. But what should have been a devastating tragedy became a story, not just of survival, but of the web of abuse that often plagues victims of domestic violence. If you enjoy exploring the darkest corners of the human psyche, subscribe to the channel for more true crime content. Please be advised that the following video contains graphic depictions of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Chicago is a city renowned for its vibrant culture and diversity, but it also harbors darker shadows beneath its dazzling skyline. It is the city where Lasonya Agee's story takes root. Lasonya's tumultuous ordeal began in the wake of her son's birth in 2017. Initially, the relationship between her and her child's father, Larry L. Sistrunk, seemed like any other, marked by minor disputes. However, these disputes slowly morphed into something far more sinister, a relentless cycle of torment, control, and violence. Lasonya's vulnerability, stemming from the traumatic loss of her mother during her childhood and her limited support network, became the leverage her abuser used to entrap her. The cycle of manipulation is a hauntingly common feature of domestic violence narratives, where victims often find themselves ensnared in a web of coercion. Recognizing the toxicity of her relationship, she mustered up the courage to break away, choosing to secretly establish a new life in her own apartment, unbeknownst to Larry. But her abuser was unrelenting, ferreting out her location, and even violating restraining orders and using violence as a tool of dominance. The bruises and black eyes were only the beginning. As Lasonya attempted to escape her abusive ex-boyfriend's clutches, his pursuit of her only grew increasingly more concerning. He began to target her employment, causing disruptions that affected her livelihood. Her workplace became a battleground, with coworkers having to protect her from his menacing presence. Recognizing the severity of the situation, the United States Postal Service, where Lasonya worked, extended assistance and offered to relocate her. Despite facing obstacles, Lasonya did not waver. She saved diligently to purchase a car, striving to create a stable environment for her beloved son. Yet, Larry relentlessly pursued her, repeatedly vandalizing her property and causing emotional distress and financial strain. The fateful day of February 21st, 2021, would forever be etched into Lasonya Agee's memory as the culmination of her worst nightmares. It was a day when the shadows of domestic violence that had haunted her life converged into a horrific reality. As the day began, Lasonya likely had no inkling of the horrors that lay ahead. She had already endured extended periods of abuse, but what unfolded on that ominous day would surpass anything she had experienced before. Larry and Lasonya crossed paths that day. It was an encounter that quickly escalated into a confrontation. Larry had persistently tried to regain control over her, resorting to threats and violence. On that particular day, he confronted her again, demanding that she get into his car and go with him. Her response was a courageous one, an emphatic refusal. She had resolved not to be a victim any longer, not to submit to his coercion, but her defiance only served to ignore his rage. In a chilling twist of events, cameras would capture the moment that Larry pulled out a gun and, without hesitation, began to fire. The gunshots shattered any tranquility of the Chicago neighborhood as Lasonya, her uncle, and her grandmother were brutally shot multiple times in broad daylight. Her ex-boyfriend's merciless assault left Lasonya with 11 gunshot wounds, a testament to the sheer brutality of the attack. Her uncle and grandmother, innocent witnesses to this horrifying episode, were also gravely wounded. Perhaps the most heart-wrenching detail of this tragedy was the presence of their 3-year-old son, who was forced to bear witness to the violence that unfolded before his eyes. He, too, would be scarred by the trauma of that day. The traumatic events shook Lasonya to her core. Her survival instincts kicked into high gear, and the events that unfolded showcased the terrifying extent to which her abuser was willing to go, to exert control and instill fear. After the shooting, Larry went on Facebook Live, crying about the horrors he had just inflicted. "I can't believe I just did it," he said. "I don't know what pushed me to snap like that." In the aftermath of this gruesome assault, Lasonya found herself hospitalized, battling not only the physical wounds inflicted upon her, but also the profound emotional and psychological scars that were inevitably left behind. As she lay in her hospital bed recovering, her ex-boyfriend remained at large. Afraid that he would finish the job if he found her, Lasonya was scared to leave the safe harbor of the hospital. Until on March 15, 2021, when Larry L. Sistrunk was found in an apartment on Mary Jane Street in Mansoura, Louisiana. His arrest provided brief respite from the ordeal and served as a reminder that justice can, and must, prevail in cases of domestic violence. Larry surrendered shortly after he was found and taken into custody without incident, where he would eventually be charged with 3 counts of attempted murder. Lasonya Agee, along with her uncle and grandmother, defied all odds and emerged from the devastating assault as survivors. Their resilience in the fact of such brutality serves as a testament to the strength of the human will. In the wake of this harrowing experience, Lasonya made a remarkable decision. Instead of retreating into the shadows, she chose to step into the light and share her story with the world. Her motivation was clear. She wanted her experience to serve as a beacon of awareness, illuminating the pervasive issue of domestic violence that often remains hidden from public view. Her decision to speak out was a courageous one, and has brought much-needed attention to the topic. But it has also served as a stark reminder that more needs to be done to address and handle cases of domestic violence. Because while Lasonya survived, there are women who unfortunately may not be so lucky.
He only hit me 11 times. That's how many times he hit me. This doesn't count the bullet holes on my car. I believe he was trying to kill me and leave no witnesses. We were talking for a minute. He was trying to make me get in the car with him. And I'm like, no. He then said, okay. And he pulled up and he pulled back and started shooting. He was trying to help me. He said, come on, mama, come on. I feel like if I was to leave right now, and maybe he'll finish me off. It's not worth it. You see me, I got shot 11 times by someone I loved and someone I shared a child with.
And when he started with her, with your daughter. You see? Coming out.
He shot her, shot my brother, and my sister was running, so he shot my sister.
Mm-hmm. And you know what?
Then he shoots in the car again at her.
Yeah, and then
because his car was rolling and he had to get in.
Mm-hmm.
I love that woman dearly, bro. I love her dearly, bro. I love that lady dearly, bro.
Don't forget that your support through likes, comments, and subscribing helps us raise awareness about cases like Lasonya's. Remember to stay updated by turning on the notification bell so you never miss a single video.